Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. It's January the 2nd, 2014. Welcome to the January meeting of the Riverfront Design Committee. The first item is roll call, please.
Paul Dudman.
Present.
Anthony Black.
Here.
Kenneth Dennis.
Here.
Brian Doherty. John Joyce.
Here.
Don Casbright.
Here.
Richie Splitt.
Here.
David Yost. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of our meeting on December the 5th of last year. The minutes were in your packet. If anyone have any questions, comments? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion to approve the same.
I have one correction on the under cases for individual consideration. A, that committee member Brian Doherty recommended the difficulty in reading the plans and recommended that crushed slate not be used, and it was supposed to be crushed limestone. And they did make that correction on the plans, but it's slate or granite was what we were recommending that they did use, and crushed limestone was not, and it's written that it was crushed slate.
Okay. Anyone have any comments or problems with that amendment? Would anyone care to make a motion to approve the minutes with that amendment enclosed?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Casper. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Item 3, cases withdrawn. There are none. Item 4, consent docket, none. Item 5, continuance requests. There are none. Item 6, cases for individual consideration. Item A, case number SRCA-13-00032 at 1901 Southeast 15th Street. Scotty?
This is part of the demolition of the existing high school and new construction for a new high school at Crooked Oak Public Schools. The committee approved, at the last meeting, the committee approved the demolition and the new construction. However, they continued the landscaping for some additional material substitutions.
Okay, thank you. It's the applicant here. If you'd like to come forward, please, and state your name.
I'm Paul Boren with Nabholz Construction, representing Crooked Oak Public Schools. As Mr. Dougherty mentioned, we did change the landscaping, the mulching material from limestone to chipped granite, I believe. We've also added more plant material to provide a visual screen from Eastern to the new parking area and from 15th to the new parking area. Also added along 15th Street, a sidewalk, which we feel like the city will require when that goes through Planning Commission anyway. So those were the changes made since our meeting last month.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone on the committee have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure that out because it had existing landscaping, you had that, but then it seemed like there was an awful lot of plant material around the screening, so that's added. Do you know if that was picked up in the matrix or what it is?
The existing?
Well, it was all this that goes along the perimeter is all, there's an awful lot of plant material. But now, is that existing or is that new?
Both. There was quite a bit of existing, and but we had to fill in between what was existing to create that screen. Otherwise, we were looking at doing a berm, trying to meet the letter of the rules to create a screen, a visual screen to the new parking area. So we opted for the shrubs and the bushes to provide that screening.
Yeah, and I don't think that was called out in this because I never could find it anywhere.
As far as existing and new?
Yeah, or even what the new was.
You have on your packet, sheet A 1.10 has the plant legends.
Right, but
and
if you go back through it, it has the Chinese pistache, and you can find that in the sedge and the yuccas and all, but those are all up around the building. And I don't think, and then it has existing, I don't think you can find anything that has any of the new material around the perimeter.
Yeah, in the, where it says new landscaping, it shows the boxwood that's being added, and I believe the brush cedar was existing. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The symbol for the brush cedar is shown, and the symbol for the boxwood is also shown. I realize you have a very, very small,
But that's listed as existing, correct? But that's additions?
on your sheet A 1.10, they have a listing of existing landscaping versus new landscaping.
Okay.
The boxwoods down at the bottom of the new landscaping was what was added between the existing bush cedars, which is on the top of the existing schedule.
Well, one is, I don't know what a bush cedar is. I think you're referring to the old arborvitaes that used to be there, but...
I can't answer that. I'm not a...
Yeah, probably ought to get those correct, because I went back and even Googled what bush cedar was, and I couldn't find it. So, we probably ought to do that. And I don't know if it's screening. I don't have any problem with boxwood, but the boxwood's going to be, 3 foot tall, and if we're really trying to accomplish a screening, then boxwood, if somebody had spirea or Nellie Stevens holly or something, like I said, I just think it wasn't clear what there was, and it was hard to pick that up on that. But as long as it's in compliance with what the city needs, I don't have any problem. It would just be good if we can get those clarified in the future.
Okay. Any other comments from the committee? Scotty, do you have any comments on behalf of the staff?
No, we've looked at the ordinance versus the plans, and we feel like it meets our requirements, and we recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone care to make a motion? Okay. Moved by Mr. Yost.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Dennis. All those in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 6B, case number SRCA-13-00033 at 626 Southeast 6th Street.
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you state your name?
Thursday after, my name is Rand Elliott, Elliott & Associates Architects. This is Kenneth Fitzsimmons. We're going to do this as a tag team here today. And I don't know whether the Thursday after the New Year's is the same for you, but there's 2 of everybody here, so I hope that doesn't affect any of our presentation. We're here to briefly tell you about the CHK Central of the UCO Boathouse and to go through details of our proposal and presentation as we see it today. It's about a little less than 18,000 square feet. It will primarily have 3 functions, which we're very excited to talk about. Kenneth, you want to drive here? The 3 primary functions for this boathouse is boat storage, certainly. The second is that they want to do an art gallery space as an extension of their campus in Edmond. And then the last and maybe the most important is that will be a music venue, which is very exciting. It's an extension, in essence, of the jazz lab that is on the UCO campus. Just for your reference, you can see where we are. You want to point to the location? The proposed location is right here where the cursor is, and that's from the left. The left of the bridge, of course, is the Chesapeake Boathouse, the Finish Line Tower, the Devon Boathouse, and the UCO Boathouse. And then to the right of that is the playground that's existing, and to the right of that is the zip line tower that is in process as we speak. And then to the far right, of course, is the proposed location for the Whitewater facility. So this is a plan that's been about 9 years in process of continuing to fill in and build boathouses as there are opportunities. And we're happy to report that UCO is very excited about this possibility. President Betts has been absolutely in leadership role about this project and is very excited about the possibilities. There are a couple of things that are going to happen with this boathouse that are unique, and I've mentioned the 3 primary ones. In the upper, well, let's look to the right. The inlet, which we've created for each of the boathouses, will be primarily used for docking and so forth, having the boats come and go, if you will, in the river. But in this particular instance, UCO is going to particularly be interested in using it as a potential music venue. We imagine them having a concert, whether they are actually creating a music group or something on the dock itself, out floating in the inlet, and then people would sit pretty much in an amphitheater style around the edges of the inlet itself. And then a second location is up near the main entrance, which is to the right there, in this little indentation, also intended to be an opportunity for a small outdoor music venue. So we've really thought a lot about how they will bring music to the river, which will be a brand new element. I think next. One of the views, really this is kind of from the northwest, looking down on the building. You see the main entry point, the river's on the upper right. The main entrance is here on the lower right. And one of the things that's going to be happening is that we have a really nice big window on the north side of the building. And as everyone knows, all these buildings are 360 degrees of vision. There's no front or back. They're seen from all sides. And so a big window here allows people to approach and understand where they might be going. It illustrates the art gallery space. To the left, the notch that we talked about earlier would be a place for potential music opportunities as you enter the main building itself. And then, of course, the sidewalks take you all the way down to the river and around the building itself. And then this small opening with the door is where boats come and go in the building itself. Architecturally, it matches the other buildings, which has been the intention since the preparation of the master plan, so that they are all consistent, but yet they each have something unique in terms of details. They all have the knife-edge nose and the glass, and then as you can see, the north side of the building is different and adapts to its particular purpose. Next image, I think, just kind of gives you a sense of orientation. This element on the notch in the left is really a mechanical screen wall, and it's a similar kind of thing that we did at the Devon Boathouse. Rather than sort of taking the cleanliness of the roof and adding mechanical units, all the buildings have real clean roofs, and so the mechanical systems actually sit on the ground in an enclosure. That enclosure becomes the backdrop for the music venue in this wonderful outdoor space. Just kind of going around the edges, you can see this wonderful sort of sculptural portal that will begin to identify and create a unique signature for this particular building. This is the location where the boats would come and go down to the ramp, and access is in that position. Next. This is a view really looking from the east towards the west, and the little gold rectangles along the exterior are gold glass, and since UCO's colors are blue and gold, that's the connection to them. But it's also a connection to music, and each one of these little elements represents a musical note that would be representative of what goes on in the main building. There'll be a gold LED lighting on the nose of the building, which will be similar in terms of its design to the other buildings. Currently, the Devon Boathouse is blue. This will be gold. The University of Oklahoma, of course, will be crimson. The view of the nose of the building, literally looking from the south towards the north, all of the boathouses have a concrete prow on them to allow us to meet the 1 foot above floodway. We have signage on the prow as well, and you can see that the nose of the building is exposed here. What's unique about this particular building that we're terribly excited about is that this building, because of its multi-purpose use, the actual music venue is in the nose of the building. And so what will be really fabulous is if you were on the River Cruiser or if you were here for an event, you would actually be seeing a musical group through the glass and in the window. And then you're going to see in a moment what it's like to be inside the room looking out with the river as the backdrop for the musical venue as well. Close-up view of it. This is basically the west or the southwest view of the building. You're also seeing, I'm sorry, would you go back one? On the right, the building that's just past the CHK Central building is the proposed Sandridge Youth Pavilion, which is in planning process as we speak. And so the tower, which is there currently, we're working on the zip line that's going across the river right now, and then the use of the Sandridge Youth Pavilion will be coming at some future date. Okay, next. Just some ground level views. You can see the big window will really be a great attraction to show what's going on. In fact, just to the left, right in that position, we're going to have a big plasma screen, and so they can actually show a preview of something to come. It could be representative of a media presentation, an artistic media presentation of some kind. There's lots of opportunities here. And then this is the, to the left is the boat storage area. We've left one wonderful big long window open so that you can see this interaction between the primary use of the building as a boat storage building and then also the gallery space. And so this is the art gallery space that will be used for presentations of all kinds, in particular on the right-hand wall. And this is also the gallery space that leads you to the music venue at the end of the corridor. Just to the right is the concessions and catering area, and the main entrance is just to the right here in the foreground. This would really be what the main entrance looks like. The right-hand side is sort of a private corridor, if you will. We're going to end up putting a gateway or something across this particular corridor. This represents where access for the musicians into the green room and staff and so forth will go, and the general public will go to the left and down the main corridor. Might mention one really interesting detail. We've done some development of this particular entry point, and it is representative of an abstraction of a musical instrument, and it's a series of stainless steel cables stretched to provide this sort of marvelous lighted quality, and then a piece of wood that represents maple, which is a very standard kind of wood used for musical instruments. And then this is the nose of the building, which is the primary musical function. They'll be using this for lots of different kinds of things, whether it be a Chamber of Commerce function or certainly a music venue experience like you're seeing it here. On the right, the slit window, it shows back into the boat storage area, which is really the part of the integration or this cross-pollination, if you will, between activities. On the left-hand side in the rear is our acoustical wall that actually can adjust and allow them to tune the room. If they're going to be using something that requires more hard-edge music, they can tune it a certain way. If it's something that's vocal or soft, we can also tune it accordingly. The opening there is for the engineer, the sound engineer, to be there, and then the stage is where we're standing currently. There is a second floor, which is primarily their area for ergs or their workout area, which is kind of up to the left above the area where Kenneth is pointing. Okay. And then this is the money shot, as they say, which is approaching the building and having the Oklahoma River as the backdrop for musical activities. We do have window shades here so that if they want to do a darkened room during the day or before sun sets, then we can darken the room. We have stage quality lighting and certainly great acoustics. I think that may be the last image. Hope I didn't take too much time. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. We're very excited about this, and we think that it's going to be a wonderful addition to the Oklahoma River.
Thank you both very much. Any questions?
Yeah, I just had a question for Rand. Sure. Is the musical venue large enough for the Philharmonic to maybe do an inaugural concert there or something?
This is a room that only seats about 100 people, 100 to 120 in a sit-down kind of arrangement like this. If it were a classroom style, you could probably get 150, 160 people in it. It's probably intended to be more of a smaller venue, but I think they have a small youth orchestra, or they have a small venue, do they not, that has members of the orchestra playing in a smaller group. I think that maybe they do. Something like that would be appropriate here.
I just thought that would be a really neat way to kick it off if it was possible to consider something like that, if it was large enough. I guess the UCO Jazz Lab will be
Yes.
visiting there from time to time?
Absolutely, and one of the things that UCO has done, which is just an amazing thing, is that for those of you who don't know, there's an affiliation with the American Academy of Contemporary Music that's in Bricktown, and the only other one of those is in London. And so London and Oklahoma City, in essence, are the two locations for this, and Scott Booker is the director of this, and they've had Eric Clapton come and teach. Wouldn't that be fun? If I had any musical talent, it would be fun, but for those of us that don't have any. But they've done a great job of attracting people, and so this will also be a venue for the Academy of Contemporary Music, and so they plan to use it a great deal and for all kinds of things, and I'll certainly pass along your thought. Thank you. Any other questions?
Scotty, do you have any comments or questions?
No, we feel like it meets all the criteria, the guidelines, and regulations of the Scenic River Ordinance, and we recommend approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Would anyone care to make a motion? Moved by Mr. Doherty. Seconded by Mr. Cuthbert. All those in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Looks like another wonderful addition to the river.
Thank you very much.
Both very much.
We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. Item 7, other business. We have none. Item 8, communications. Item A, administrative approval report. There's one item, case number SRCA-11-000018 at 231 Southwest 10th Street. Does anyone have any comments with regard to that or questions? Item B, no, there are no comments from Planning Department. Any comments from the committee? If not, our next meeting date will be Thursday, February the 6th. Applications have to be in by December the 30th. Do we have any as yet?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. Otherwise, if there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Blatt. Thank you very much.